What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Some of you may know that I spent the last 3 days in the hospital. I didn't make a post on YouTube, but I did make a few posts on Instagram and Facebook. It's been a hard few days, the last 3 days, 4 days technically, 3.5 I suppose. On Sunday, I had an intestinal blockage that wreaked some serious havoc on me. And assuming it was just severe gas pains, I worked through it. Just kind of stayed here in the shop and just kind of toughed it out. I ended up on the couch, inconsolable, ultimately ended up puking blood, passing out and falling straight on my face with my arms by my side. And Kayla had to pick me up off the floor and call 911 and get me to the ER. Turns out I had the intestinal blockage. And I just want to thank all of you guys for all of your messages. Instagram, Facebook, text message. I was inundated with messages of concern and well wishes and prayers. And I just can't thank you guys enough. I'm just overwhelmed by the support and concern that you guys had for me. So just wanted to start this episode by saying thank you so much. I am feeling better. We are still planning to go to New Brunswick, Canada for Complex Union in just a few days. I'm resting as best I can. Gonna follow up with some GI doctors next to figure out why this happened. I'm feeling better. I'm hoping I continue to feel better. Let's get into today's episode where we continue working on the 1000 SP in a slower pace, a more healthy pace, getting ready for Complex Union in Canada. All right, guys, next morning, feeling pretty good. Last night was the first night not in the hospital. Man, am I sore. Having an NG tube down into your stomach through your nose is pretty gnarly, and had my stomach, with vacuum in it for 2 full days. So I'm sore, but I'm mending and I'm moving slow today. I'm moving slow. But here's the cap I went to Sparta, Tennessee to pick up. I needed an OBS 8-foot cap for this trip. And the reason for that is the auto union in the 700 can't fit in my 24-foot enclosed trailer. The 700 in a Volkswagen Beetle will. The 700 in my old German market 2F Polo will, but not the auto union. The 1000 SP is a little bit too long. So we're taking the open trailer. And that too is 24 feet, but I have more overhang and I don't have to close the door in the back. You guys saw in the last episode, I test fit them. Got a couple teaser photos of the 2 of those on the trailer, which is insane, by the way. That's been like the crazy dream of building the 1000 SP, is having 2 1960 German fintail cars, rare German fintail cars, both body dropped on air together on a trailer. So it'll be cool that they're on the open trailer so you can see them rolling down the road. But that means I needed a cap for the truck so I could keep my tent, totes of stuff, flags, all my booth stuff under cover, out of the possible rain, but also under lock and key. Red was not the first choice. It wasn't even really the second to last choice. But there wasn't much available for 8-foot beds. Everyone had 6-foot beds. It's not really the color I wanted. I don't even really love caps on trucks anyway. This morning, back in the shop, I've cut my list down of things I want to do on this car in the time we have, both with my health and the time that we have left. So since I'm still on the mend and I'm not going to push it too hard, I'm only going to work on a few things here. And the last thing I want to do, I'm hoping the look of this car transforms, working on this paint a little bit. Because you guys can see here, somebody put primer on it. And I took some quad-aught steel wool and some acetone. Look at the shine. Pretty wild. So I want to do the whole side of that car. I want to get all that primer off of there and bring the paint back as best as possible as well. But also very soon, I'm going to be putting the doors on, which is crazy because the doors haven't been on this thing in over 2 years. All right, last bolt on the door hinges. I'm curious to see if there's any pressure on it, as these stayed tight as I built the frame inside the body to mount to the Beetle pan. So I'm actually kind of curious to know if there's any pressure left on it, or if it's been tight and it didn't really move much at all. Didn't really move at all. That is what we wanted. Well, it looks like everything was held in place just the way we wanted it to. Well, it is crazy to see this car without any doors or door frames in it. The only time I ever saw this thing without a door, with a vacant space, was before we took it up off the frame and started cutting stuff out of it. And just look at how wild the door shape and door opening is. It cuts underneath the windshield and the rain tray by a solid 8 inches or more. And then notches underneath the windshield and then goes up the A-pillar. And even the back of the doors, you guys will see, has this fin started on it. That obviously becomes the real exaggerated fin at the back. But what I'm also working on is booth stuff. Now, I started making this triple layer acrylic sign for my booth. Now, I am really excited about this. And what I've wanted to do is build a sign that sits off the side of my tent. So basically off one of the posts of the tent, you've got this cool traditional looking sign that just sticks off the side so people can see it when they're walking down an aisle at a show. So this is all acrylic welded together. These are all basically one piece now. I've used 1-inch square. I've got a mount that already clamps to the tent post and use this 1/4-inch thick rod stock to kind of act as like a support because a lot of the weight is out here. I'm about to paint it now, and that's not what this episode's about, obviously, but it's what I'm working on with literally only 2 days left before I have to load everything up on the trailer. So I'm gonna paint this black, and then we're gonna get the doors on this thing and work on some paint. Now my friend Sam's gonna swing over again. Sam's a good buddy of mine who just lives locally, doesn't live too far away, and he's an air-cooled nerd. He's got a few Beetles, he's got a really cool 66 body drop project he's working on right now. He's got some EvaResto and Aerof Performance components in it, but he's a detailer by trade. Actually, he's got a business in detailing. You guys saw him on the channel a few times. He buffed out the headlights on my W210 Mercedes. And what we're gonna do is we are going to get this primer off. This primer goes all the way down the passenger side of the car. So we're gonna do the whole side, and we're gonna do our best to kind of put our hands on any bit of the paint that's left to kind of give it any sort of shine to get that dead paint off. And once the doors are on and we get all that primer off, it's gonna totally transform the car. All right, guys, well, the sign is done. It came out exactly the way I was hoping it would. Man, we're out here in like 100-degree heat right now. Double-sided. And it seems to hold its weight. This is a lot of weight out here, but the tighter this is, it stays. It seems to stay okay. Man, I am so stoked on that. Capped the 1-inch square on the end here just so it looks a little bit finished. Yeah. Definitely stoked on that. Well, guys, I almost forgot what the car looked like without paper in the windows. Sam's here. We're going to put the doors on since we already got the bars off. Already crazy being able to see straight through that thing. What else is crazy, if you're a Volkswagen air-cooled guy, it's obvious when you look in this giant door opening, you got a Beetle pan sitting right there. Kind of crazy. So you know what you're looking at if you're a Volkswagen guy. And someone who has never seen one of these cars before might look in there and be like, they used Volkswagen Beetle pans under the auto unions? And Sam, who has a detailing business, Detail Work, W-E-R-K-E, he actually brought by some materials that I don't have and took a little stab at this corner of this fin. And look at the light reflecting in it. That is a teaser if I've ever seen one. No light, light. No light, light. That is what we're going for on the whole car. I think that's going to be unbelievable. Obviously, we have a lot of panels that are more rust than paint, but it's the same with the BMW 700. I just buffed out everything I could. This is the factory primer underneath the white, so we'll hit that too and try to shine that up. I'm excited, guys. This was, other than the car airing down and touching the ground for the first time, this is the next most exciting part of the project for me because this car is about to transform. back here. It could come back a smidge more.
That's better. Still tight, but it's better.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll get in there. You can just hold it up to here. So this lines up, and I'll zip them down and see if it wants to open all the way.
Badass with that door on.
How crazy, right? Dude, I haven't seen it on the ground with a door on it yet.
Dude, that looks so good.
Dude.
Honestly, all the purists that say stuff is like, look at that. That door looks salvageable. Either one of them. Just shut up.
See,
Just shut up.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's insane.
Looks wild with the doors on it.
It's insane. It's wild. It's wild.
Man. Yeah, we're going to get the other door on, and we'll start working on some paint. That is seriously crazy. Being able to see through the windows now, seeing it with doors on, and sills flat out on the concrete floor. What a wild looking car. And we're going to take some quad-aught steel wool and some acetone and get all this primer off and see how far we get. Sam might work on the other side and start buffing out some paint. That fin is just looking so crazy. All right, what are we using for our compound?
So we're using a water-based diminishing compound.
That's right, you said that earlier. So water-based because you can wash it off of the rust.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't dry, you can wipe it right out.
Many of you guys may know if you've ever tried like waxing or buffing out the original paint on your patinaed car, the second you touch any of the rust, it just turns white, like immediately.
Yeah.
Just blister white. And so what Sam is using here is a water-based product so he can wipe it off as soon as he hits it and it doesn't turn white.
Yeah, like right here, we buffed it earlier and there's no white.
Unreal. I mean, and that shine that's in that is so crazy. Yeah, I'm stoked on this. So while he does that, on the basically the driver's side, there's no primer. There's some primer and some of the rust, which we might try to sort out later. But he's going to work on the paint on this side, and I'm going to work on getting the primer off of this side. So this side will hopefully look white again. All right, here's what I'm going to be using. Quad-aught or Quad 040 steel wool. And it's almost like magic when you rub that with acetone on this primer and it does not touch the factory paint. Now I need to give a shout out to my friend Kyle Golding for this hack. I know this is nothing new. A lot of you guys may already know about this little trick, but I did not. I actually hit him up knowing that he's buffed out a lot of original paint, Volkswagen Beetles and buses. He's done a lot of stuff like this. So yeah, he said quad-aught steel wool and some acetone. So let's show you guys what this stuff can do. Look at this. And what you were just saying is you're not even taking a lot of white.
No, it's the compound with the pad at just low speed. We're just like basically moisturizing the paint.
No heat.
No, very little heat.
Yep.
Yeah. So like a typical people do like a rotary. I'm using a DA just to rejuvenate. We're not really trying to go for crazy gloss, just cleaning it up. When we do like a protection on it, I'll use like a high oil content wax. It doesn't last that long, but the paint wants to be hydrated. Like So I use old school wax on older paint.
Yeah, that's looking unbelievable already. Dude. What on earth? I can't even find an angle with the camera that like accurately depicts the shine. There it is. That's nuts.
Looks great.
We're currently just drenching right now. We had a box fan going. It was a hot day here in South Tennessee. I don't have AC here in the shop. It's cooler inside than it is outside, but it's like 9:30 p.m. right now. We just got barbecue, and I'm still nursing. This is day 3 out of the hospital after 4 days in the hospital. So I'm still less days out than I was in. So I'm taking it easy. All right, look at how crazy this door came out. Sam is going ham on the roof right now, just soaking it with steel wool. Just steel wool and water, right?
Yep.
So quad out steel wool and water and just going over all the rust, all the paint, and it's making it look like it's got this matte paint job with like this really cool kind of sheen to it. You can see the lights reflecting in it. Dude, the roof was a wild card.
I just went for it.
We didn't know what we could do with the roof because running a buffer over that would just eat pads alive, right? And yeah, we're just steel wool, water, and a microfiber, and it's just taken all of that dead paint. The passenger side has made a total transformation.
Yeah, I know. Between getting the dent out and just all the primer off, it's wild.
It's unbelievable. Unreal, man. I just realized that the black on the driver's side bottom part of the sill, this heavy black, is white underneath and the steel wool's taking it. So when this aired down for the first time, when I cut the pinch welds, you almost couldn't tell from a distance that this side was actually touching the ground because this whole bottom half was black. So it kind of hid in the shadow of the car on the ground. But now with it being white, and I've got a little bit more to do here, it's going to be obvious that this thing is laying body on the ground. All right, guys, next morning, and I am still in disbelief at what this car looks like. I mean, this thing is a totally different car. Both of the doors on, the paper out of the windows, and just this deep looking paint now. Unreal. Well, my wrist and shoulders are insanely sore. Just all the scrubbing last night. All right, guys, you've heard me say it enough in this episode how insane of a transformation this thing's had, especially in person. You know, I did my best on camera, and hopefully it came across pretty wild on camera too. But seeing this car outside as a complete car now is the dream. This was the dream. So happy, guys. So stoked on this. I know we have a long way to go. It's not running, it's not driving. We still have mechanicals to go through, brakes and wiring and interior and all the sheet metal work, firewall work. But man, guys, we've done a lot up to this point. There's a lot to do yet. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. I have so much to do today and tomorrow. I'm thanking God that today I am feeling good. Put in a late night last night with a lot of physical exertion, with just scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. But I really appreciate all of you guys' support. Really, this community is mind-blowing. You know, it's crazy to me to see so many people from all over the world, you know, be concerned with your well-being is pretty incredible. And that tops the car stuff. That's far and wide, far beyond what we're doing here with cars. So I'm going to leave it off there. Got to give a huge thanks to my friend Sam Bunker for coming over and putting in, I mean, he's been over a few times to help with a bunch of stuff on this car anyway, but we did 8 solid hours of scrubbing on this paint last night. So that's it for this episode, guys. We're going to New Brunswick, Canada with this and the BMW 700. I am just chomping at the bit to see those two cars aired out next to each other at the Ludwick's Garage booth. If you're going to be there, please come by. We're going to have brand new shirts, new shop shirts. We're going to have an Auto Union shirt. I can't wait. It's a 1000 SP shirt. For all of you who can't make it to Complex Union, don't worry. They're going to be available online soon. The new LudwicksGarage.com website is up now. It's kind of blank right now, but there's a link to the YouTube channel here. And I'm getting a whole new Shopify account started. So excited for things to come. Thank you guys so much again for all of your support. We'll see you in the next episode.